Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den, and I'm your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. Almost screwed up that intro, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with day 7 of Triple Play, and for everyone out there, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a fantastic New Year's celebration, and you're probably at home recovering. What a great way to recover, if not to watch another episode of the Music Den. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
we are back for the final episode again of Triple Play. We've each picked a band who have had a run of 3 albums that we think are fantastic or great, not perfect, but great. And coming along for me on with me on this run of episodes, we have Mr. Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
Going well. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming back. Mr. Bill Schuster. How's it going, Bill?
Wonderful, Armando. Excited to see what 2025 brings.
Yes, yes. Great that you're here. And yeah, let's hope that 2025 is a fantastic year for all. And the one and only Mr. Jim Bricker. How's it going, Jim?
going very well. Happy New Year, gents. Looking forward to doing all kinds of more fun things with you.
And that we will be, I promise you. Now, again, each of us have picked a band that have had a run of 3 albums that we think are great. And let me see who I'm going to pick to start this episode. We're going to go with Mr. Jim Bricker.
Hello. Hello. All right, so starting off, first I want to throw out my honorable mentions. Um, the, this was the challenging part about this task was the editing process, what not to pick. And even as we were recording, I said, nope, I need to get rid of this band and put another one in. So yes, editing is always the difficult part. So Talking Heads, Pink Floyd, Talk Talk, The Blue Nile, Joni Mitchell, Joe Jackson, U2, Jane Siberry, Rush. I mean, all kinds of bands were considered, but left off for one reason or the other.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Black Midi.
Now, let's have that discussion another time, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Um,
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. It was there. Couldn't help it.
fair enough.
It was
So
there.
yeah, my pick for day 7 is Taylor Swift, and we're gonna go. No, I
The
owed you that one
comedy
with the Mark
portion of
Date.
the program.
Yes, you can always edit it out. Um, all right, the
We'll
complete
see.
opposite of Taylor. We're going with Steely Dan, and we are going with the albums which immediately follow what Bill has over his shoulder there. And that is one. That is two. And that is three. Absolutely. Katie lied, Royal Scam in Asia. Thank you, Bill, for being ready. Uh, um, so
Traffic will
whereas,
follow.
yeah, whereas the first three albums that Bill talked about, Steely Dan was very much in a band mode, and they kind of had to be because they were touring for all those records. This is where they went into their, you know, Beatles mode and just said, "We're done. We're done touring. We just want to make records. We want to make great records." And F and A, they made great records. Uh, the Although jazz stuff was certainly hinted at in the first three, and especially on Pretzel Logic, they kind of embraced the jazz mode whole hog in these three albums, especially with Asia. Um, just to talk about some highlights, Katie lied for me. The tune there that towers above all is Doctor Wu. There's just something about the way that song is constructed. Phil Woods sax solo. I think I've got that right. It was Phil Woods. Um, um, it's just a minor masterpiece. I absolutely love Doctor Wu and the way that whole thing just is put together. Royal Scam. This is the guitar album from Steely Dan, and as much as I love um, Kid Charlemagne, to me the standout tracks on this album are Green Earrings and Caves of Altamira. I just don't know what it is about those tunes, but they have just grown on me more and more. Maybe as I get older, I just find new things to discover in them. But just, the horn arrangements, the timbre of the guitar solos in Green Earrings, Bernard Purdy's just touch and feel on driving that tune to conclusion is just amazing. One of the greatest little drum fills ever is Bernard's fill on Green Earrings. Um, and then, of course, Asia, which is, I guess, depending on where you fall in the Steely Dan spectrum, it's either where they lost the plot or it's just the grand fulfillment of everything. I fall into the latter camp. Uh, to me, there's like Asia and then Kind of Blue and Abbey Road underneath it. Um, so
Jeez.
yeah, it's kind of up there a little bit.
I understand where you're
Um,
coming from, but geez.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's my final three. From Steely Dan, Katie lied, Royal Scam, Asia. Um, there's just not a bum note on those three. Even Daddy Don't Live in That New York City No More. Not a bum note on there. It's just this tweaky blues that's works just so well.
Yeah.
Oh, good choices. Good choices. Yeah, no, I've said before, I obviously have known of Steely Dan, but there's a couple of years back during the height of the pandemic when we were all when Bob was working from home. I was taking a nap one day and he opens the door and he's got a stack of CDs, like a pack of CDs, still wrapped, all held together by an elastic band. And he's like, "Did you go shopping on Amazon?" I'm like, "Well, duh. Of course I did." He goes, "Your package is here, obviously." It was all Steely Dan. I was like all the albums, like all the seven original run, the original run. So yeah, fantastic. Just amazing. Just amazing. All right. Let me see. Let's go with Ken.
Okay. This is the third and the final of my choices for first three albums, period, of a band. A band that gets a lot of flack and mostly for their latter period albums, in which I wouldn't disagree with. But frankly, I absolutely adore the first three albums, especially of U2. Um, all three produced by the legendary Steve Lillywhite. I think this is there are probably some other record producers that could have done what he did or at least come close. But this is the U2 that has their original um, uh, post-punk new wave aesthetic. It has the rawest of sounds. Um, this is just them just cooking on all four burners. Um, with the opening album, Boy, with killer tracks, I Will Follow, Out of Control, Stories for Boys, and the Electrico. Um, the albums aren't long, but man, they cram a lot in these relatively short run times. Followed by October, which is not recognized as much. The story goes that just as they were getting ready to go into the studio, excuse me, um, Bono had his notebooks of his lyrics in a briefcase or a satchel or whatever. And just before they went in to record the vocals, someone stole it. And he couldn't remember exactly what lyrics he had written. So on the fly, he redid the lyrics for all these songs. And I think the results are just amazing. The song Gloria, I Fall Down, Fire Is It All. It's just incredible. And in 1983, they follow up with War. Now, of course, this is their big breakout album with the help of MTV, with Sunday Bloody Sunday and New Year's Day, Two Hearts Beat as One, and 40. This is the last album that they would do that would have this um, powerful rawness of sound. They'll follow this up with Unforgettable Fire, which has more of a how shall I say, a smoother, more processed sound, which is still a fabulous album. But it's a new direction, which was probably time. It was time for a new direction after War. War was my introduction to the band. It just completely it it blew me away. And part of that is there again, this rawness of sound. I got to see them on the War tour in '83, before they really broke through, in a small auditorium in Jacksonville, Florida. And uh, even though it was a small venue, they didn't hold a single thing back. Bono still climbed to the top of the stacks and still waved that huge flag while they were doing Surrender and all of those songs. It was just absolutely incredible to be that close to the band for this concert. And if I could go back in time and see a concert again, that would probably be my number one choice. So The Dawn of U2 with Boy, October, and War. My choice.
Good choices. Really good choices. All right, Bill, down to you.
All right, nice choices so far. I'm not going to argue with any of them. I dig all that stuff. So, and yeah, I'm definitely on board with the earlier U2 as opposed in general, as opposed to later also. All right, I'm going to I did Joe Jackson last time, and I consider my favorite artist outside of the Beatles, who are the beyond category. I consider this my favorite band usually. And once again, I'm going on the opposite end of the spectrum as Ken. I'm not going for the early stuff. I'm going for the final three albums by this band: Vapor Trails from 2002, Snakes and Arrows from 2007, and Clockwork Angels from 2012. Of course, it's Rush.
I didn't think it was
The reason-
Kajagoogoo.
What's that?
I didn't think it was Kajagoogoo, but I could see it.
You never know. I'm not too shy to throw some Kajagoogoo out here.
Okay. Go on,
Hey.
Lamar. Go on, Lamar. Go ahead. Go ahead. Be yourself.
Yeah. All right. I love the entire catalog. This is another one of those artists. I don't think they ever made a bad album, at least not a bad studio album. There's some of the live that's a whole different story. I could have picked any run in the final five here, so I could have thrown in Counterparts or Test for Echo for my personal tastes. Also, I love this whole final five run. I feel like it's one big continuing piece of work with them as a modern rock band who have truly become comfortable in their own skins, and they're not trying to prove anything to anyone by doing wild experimental stuff or anything. They're just three guys that are playing together that have been enjoying each other's company for years. Now, that said, Vapor Trails, 2002, 6 years after the previous album, Test for Echo, because, of course, Neil Peart lost his daughter and his wife in less than a year's time. And it was unknown if the band was ever even going to do anything again for obvious reasons. So this was them coming back off that long layoff, and the album is, of course, loaded with Neil and his lyrics dealing with his grieving process. So while it does have hopeful elements to it, certainly, it's also a very dark album. I mean, the album about a grieving process, of course, it's going to be dark. That said, it's very emotionally resonant. Neil, for people who are not familiar with the band's career, who think that they only existed between 74 and say 81 or 82, they might not realize how Neil evolved as a storyteller, as a lyricist.
Hmm.
He got away from the fantasy lyrics. He got away from the Randian philosophy lyrics and became something a bit warmer, something a bit more humanist, I guess, in general. And yeah, he got to the heart of the human condition here. He bared his soul on this album, and it's very emotionally resonant all the way across. Musically, it is dense. You know, you got the two versions.
Oh yeah.
People were up in arms over the original. My copy is still the original 2002 CD, not the remix from years later, which I think that's fine also, but I was never one of those who had a problem with the original mix of Vapor Trails.
I
It
was just
sounded the
going to
way
ask
it
you
was
that
supposed
question. Right.
to. The songs are there no matter the mix. But yeah, it's very busy. There's lots of layering on this. And it has a thicker, heavier sound to it overall compared to Test for Echo, which was more clean and streamlined. All right. So 5 years later, because that's how these guys rolled at this point. No hurry, whatever. They've gotten over the whole dealing with the grieving process, getting back together, learning how to be a band again, touring, recording. The painful stuff is pretty much out of the way. So Snakes and Arrows comes up 2007. This is my favorite Rush album, period. Sorry, Moving Pictures, you're not on the list. Great stuff, but this is my era. This is the band that I truly love.
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, I know it's not a popular view, but I absolutely stand by
I
it.
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, Snakes and Arrows just really, as it came out at the time, with current events in the world at that time, it really hit me lyrically, and I love the way they changed up the music. Alex played a lot more acoustic guitar on this album. They got rid of that dense sound from Vapor Trails, no matter whether it's the remix or the original, and again went for a cleaner sound. This is the most he'd ever used acoustic guitars on a Rush album and had that be a prominent part of the sound. And I think it really works well here. It kind of allows Alex to be showcased, basically, which sometimes he wasn't. He's kind of the forgotten man sometimes in this trio because the other two get
Sure.
so much attention.
I would
That's
agree.
undeserved. He's brilliant. I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. I would agree with what you're saying about not getting that much
Alex.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of his moment to shine and to do things he hadn't quite done before. Yeah, again, it works well. Yeah, the way the wind blows, Armor and Sword, these things. Neil has throughout his career, of course, touched on issues of religion and spirituality, and I think Armor and Sword is one of his most compelling pieces regarding that lyrically, regarding that subject, because it's not a condemning piece as far as you either have religious beliefs or you don't. It's more nuanced. It's about people who take those beliefs and use them as a weapon instead of a comfort and a defense and a soothing balm. And it's a pretty powerful lyric and message there. So this is Neil saying, look, I'm not saying that there's nothing but bad in religion. I'm saying that some people are misusing it, and let's use it in a more positive way, basically. And I think that's an important point for this. And he kind of hits on that in other places too. The Way the Wind Blows is that's still very resonant with me. It's possibly a top 5 Rush song for me. And yeah, I love the Alex's bluesy guitar in it, which is very also unusual for him. And I really feel those lyrics. We can only grow the way the wind blows. I mean, it's basically talking about not letting the world break you. Roll with it. roll with the wind like, pond weeds, just keep on moving. Yeah, this is a great album. It still works for me to this day. So
Mhm.
on to the final. 5 years later, yet again, Clockwork Angels. I almost didn't pick this one. I almost went for Test for Echo on the other side instead, because this one does get a lot of love. For many people, it seemed as though they decided, hey, look at that. Rush is back. Well, I haven't heard from them since 1981 or 82.
I
And I,
know, I
I
know.
almost just wanted to dismiss these people automatically. It's all right. You don't even know what you're talking about. You haven't seen the evolution of this band. Get out of here with your, this is the greatest thing they've done in years. No, it's a continuation of what they've been doing
Yeah, talk about
since
a
the
bit slap.
90s.
Yeah.
It's not like they suddenly went and look, hey, we made 2112 again. We made Hemispheres again. No, this is modern Rush. It has hints of some of those earlier things, but it's still that modern rock band that are just so comfortable together.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's a concept album. Unlike 2112, which is a concept song, this truly is the Rush concept album.
Mhm.
And you get the books to go along with it. I just have the first one, and I read it, and it did help to illuminate the story quite a bit more for me. Adds more depth to the lyrics, reading the book itself and connecting the two. But I want to particularly, excuse me, as I learn to speak English again, I want to particularly point out the closing song, "The Garden." My apologies to the End and Her Majesty, but I think this may be the greatest career capping song in the history of rock music.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Especially considering, what happened with Neil a few years later. As we all know, he died in 2020. Adds an extra layer of poignancy and meaning to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was his postscript. It was the cap on everything he'd given us over the years. The measure of a life.
Okay, now Bill, before you start tearing up, you cried enough
Too
in the
late.
Stephen Wilson episode. You
Yeah.
don't need to cry again on this one. Both Bill and I lost
If you
our.
can make it through the garden without
Yeah.
getting a little misty eyed, you're stronger than I am as far as keeping those emotions
Yeah.
smashed down.
Yeah.
The measure of life is the measure of love and respect. So hard to earn, so easily burned. It's a powerful song, and musically you get the strings. I saw the tour. Unfortunately, my seats were terrible. Stacy and I were up in the nosebleed seats, and the arena we were in had horrific sound, at least in our section. So string section was great, but we didn't really get to hear them as much. We just got to enjoy seeing them in poor quality sound. So I'm glad for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
This is such a great cap to their career. They never stopped being a great band. They just dropped followers along the way who wanted them to continue being what they used to be rather than continuing on the journey with them. I stuck with the journey, and I'm glad I did. I miss these guys. So yeah, that's my closer, the final 3 Rush albums. Oh, I do have some quick honorables too. Ones I considered but mostly kept out, as I had somewhat jokingly said, not to kill Armando's ratings here. Concrete Blonde is Concrete Blonde ratings. We found that out. Band is IZZ, Lana Lane, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Renaissance, Spock's Beard, Stephen Wilson, and Supertramp. Those were all very strong contenders.
Okay.
Cool. Quite make it for reasons.
Two quick notes. I remember. I have all those albums that you have. Big surprise. I remember when the hype for Clockwork Angels started in 2011. and they were releasing. There was the one track they released, B2B,
B2B and Caravan.
B2B and Caravan, and they were saying, on the Facebook post, oh, there's an album coming this year, or maybe next year, possibly 2013. Finally, at one point, I just screamed, "Release the fucking album already! Enough is enough!" Like there's an, and I thought to myself when it did came out, I thought this better be damn good, for all the like the leading up to it and the teasing, and you know what? They bloody well delivered, and for fans out there that just want a band to stay where they are, it's never going to happen. A band,
Right.
if they want to continue in their mind and in their hearts and in their soul, have to evolve and move on and create. And it may not go down an avenue that you like, but they have to be true to themselves. I mean, just another small tangent. Freddie Mercury did an interview back in '77 for Australian TV, and he was like saying that these are his words. Yes, everyone looks at Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, big hit. But he said that he thought that Somebody to Love, from a songwriter's point of view, was, in his estimation, a better song than Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, a casual listener hearing that would say, is he effing crazy? You know what? He wrote the song. He can say it. He wrote both songs. He can say it. That is just his opinion. That's him evolving as a singer-songwriter, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's my mini tangent done. Sorry, but it's the smallest tangent we've ever done, the shortest one. Anyways, fantastic choices. Now, listening to you, I got to go back and re-listen to Snakes and Arrows and Vapor Trails, and I have the remix version of the album, but of Vapor Trails. But yeah, fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my final pick for triple play is Fleetwood Mac, and we're going with self-titled from '75, otherwise known as the White Album, Rumors from '77, and Tusk from '79. Now, Fleetwood Mac started out as a blues rock band, mostly blues based, with the addition of Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks on New Year's Eve. How convenient. In 1974, they basically, with the album that would be self-titled, turned the corner, and they moved away from the blues-based rock that they did with Bob Welsh and Jeremy Spencer and all, Peter Green, and they moved more into the AOR, I can never say that phrase, AOR, radio-friendly pop rock. And with the self-titled, it shows, with Monday Morning and Warm Ways, the major hit single of Rhiannon, written by Nicks. And this album does contain I do believe one or maybe two leftovers from the Buckingham Nicks album from '73. Ends off with Crystal. Fantastic album. Say You Love Me, Landslide. Come on. I mean, this is pure gold that's coming out right now. World Turning, which is a co-write between Christine McVie and Lindsey Buckingham. What I like about the pairing of Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie, and I'm going to tear up a little bit, there was a mutual love and respect for one another as songwriting individuals, as songwriters and as singers and as musicians. They genuinely loved one another and respected one another as musicians, and it shows in their collaborations. Other songs of note on the album, I'm So Afraid, which ends off the White Album. beautiful track, heavy track from Buckingham. And, you know, live versions of this would run anywhere from like 4 to 7 minutes long. Just amazing. Very heavy guitar work, fantastic guitar work from Lindsey Buckingham. I think he doesn't get enough credit as a guitar player and as a soloist. I think he's just effing phenomenal. And I think he needs to be touted a little more. And I'm going to be doing a Lindsey Buckingham album ranking in the new year. So, spoiler alert, coming up to Rumors Now, the massive, you know, selling album released February 4th, 1977, 11 tracks. If you want a sonic diary of relationships gone down the toilet, this album is for you. Okay, I'm sorry. It is gold from start to finish. You know, Secondhand News, Dreams, Never Going Back Again, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, Songbird, the majestic Songbird. Okay, just beautiful, beautiful. The second side starts with the only composition that was co-written by the entire band, The Chain, with lyrics provided by Stevie Nicks. You Make Lovin' Fun. Amazing. The one track that was put in at the very last minute instead of Silver Springs, I Don't Want to Know, which is fine. I wish they could have kept Silver Springs. Oh Daddy is next, and it ends off with Gold Dust Woman. Fantastic album. I think that if they had kept Silver Springs instead of I Don't Want to Know, perfect album. A perfect album. And I mean, Nicks won on both levels. Stevie Nicks won on both levels because she wrote both songs. And Silver Springs being released as a standalone single, massive hit for the band overall. Now, coming off the massive success of Rumors, you have Tusk. Now, at the time that Tusk was released, Rumors had sold a measly 10 million copies. Okay, 10 million. All right. Now, the record company wanted a Rumors too. Okay, but the band, in particular, Lindsey Buckingham, said, forget that. We're not doing that. We've done it. We're going to go on and do something else. This album, a double album, 20 songs, more new wave influenced. I wouldn't say it permeates throughout the whole album, but he was looking at the production that Roy Thomas Baker was doing with the Cars, Elvis Costello, that kind of flavor. This album sold a measly 4 million copies. And Warner Brothers and the management thought that it was a failure because it didn't sell as well as Rumors. Rumors is one of those albums like Bat Out of Hell. It was an anomaly in terms of the amount of copies it sold. This album, Tusk, to me, is fantastic. It's fantastic. You have Over and Over, The Ledge, you know, oh my God. It's a fantastic, you know, Think About Me, Sarah, the fantastic track Sarah, which features, oh my God, a beautiful ethereal vocal from Christine McVie. Mick Fleetwood on the brushes for the drums, just amazing. A piano-led, piano-driven track, but it's very intricate, but it comes across as very effortless the way it's done. And that is the trick, in my very humble opinion. When you can put so much into a production, but make it sound so effortless and so, I guess, easy is the only way I can describe it. Other songs of note on the album for me are What Makes You Think You're the One, That's All for Everyone, Not That Funny, all Lindsey Buckingham tracks. Sisters of the Moon, Okay. This is, oh God. Stevie Nicks trying to be, for Joni Mitchell, and it's got to be said that Joni Mitchell was an influence on her. Court and Spark was an influence on her when it came out, um, back in in 75. It's just, That's enough for me is enough is another fantastic track. Brown Eyes, um, Never Make Me Cry, you know, I know I'm not wrong. Another fantastic song, Honey High, the title track, which is great. I just think that this album, that Tusk as an album, needs to get more praise and needs to be talked about a lot more. So, that's why it's included as my final of the triple play um, albums. And yeah. Um, it's more experimental, obviously, than Rumors, but you know what? What's wrong with experimentation? And first of all, I love two things. I love Christina McVie's vocals. She always has a very warm delivery on her vocals, very sultry, very warm, very inviting. She's always been a woman, a musician and a woman that's very sophisticated. You know what I mean? Very, very, um, oh God, how can I put it? Just a very sophisticated, very welcoming type of individual in terms of a vocal delivery. And in terms of Lindsey Buckingham's guitar work and production, stellar. I cannot say it enough. I think he needs to get more credit and more praise for his um, work as a musician and as a producer. So that's it. That's my final pick for the triple play list of albums. Thank you very much. Any notes? I think we've lost Bill. I think we've lost Bill right now, but we'll keep. There we
Oh,
go.
he's back.
He's
There he
back.
is.
He's back, and he's gone
He's
again.
still-
But we'll
He's
get him back,
frozen.
ladies and gentlemen. He's frozen. Um, there we go. We've switched. Yes, we go. There we go.
There. Hello, Bill.
Any comments? Any opinions?
Well, the younger generations just they can't fathom how huge Fleetwood Mac was at the time.
Right.
And or probably most of our other choices, especially that was difficult or more difficult to do back then before the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, all you had was like Cream and Rolling Stone magazine and radio stations. Yeah, it was another world back then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Um, I think that there are certain albums from artists that need to be mentioned more and get more credit because the work that's on them is, my again, humble opinion, fantastic. Fantastic. And Tusk is one of those albums. I mean, 4 million compared to 10 million at the time. Okay, I can see from a record company standpoint that it may not be as, maybe looked at as, I guess, somewhat of a failure, but I mean, come on. Like,
I mean, I don't know what they were charging for Tusk, but remember, that's a double album. So easily, people were plunking 798 or so for Rumors when it came out on vinyl. Tusk was easily commanding 1399 at least. So, they
Yeah.
were making more per unit shipped, but they shipped less units because cost was a barrier. And frankly, the songs on Tusk, while good, they didn't have that level of, supernova-ish to songs as on Rumors.
yeah, they didn't go for the hit in terms
Right.
of the immediate hit. And Lindsey Buckingham, there were 2 points. Before the making of Tusk, Mick Fleetwood approached Warner Brothers and said, "We want you to build us a studio." Before the making of Tusk, Mick Fleetwood approached Warner Brothers and said, "We want you to build us a studio." Before the making of Tusk, Mick Fleetwood approached Warner Brothers and said, "We want you to build us a studio." from the ground up. We want our own studio. We want Warner Brothers to pay for it. We've proven that we can sell records, and we want our own studio. And this was after, I guess, obviously with the success of Rumors. And they looked at him and said, no, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. We cannot justify to our shareholders why we built you, Fleetwood Mac, as a band, your own studio. It ain't going to happen. Deal with it. You can have Studio D in this building, but you're not going to get your own kind of a situation, right? So they took what they were given, and the rest, I guess, is history.
Well, record companies back then didn't realize that so many albums could be sold until Frampton Comes Alive came out.
Yeah.
And that got the record company's attention. Not only do you have an album that sells multi-millions of copies, but even a double album. And so that's at the point, and then they, Fleetwood Mac follows up with Rumors, especially. That's when the record companies really had dollar signs first and foremost in their eyes, rather than just putting out good music.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Frampton's another good example. Frampton Comes Alive comes out, and I think it was January of '76. Massive success. He records I'm in You, and it sells 3 million after. And oh my God, where's the magic? You know what I mean? Where's another one? Where's another Baby I Love You Way, or Do You Feel Like We Feel, whatever.
Whereas Frank Zappa would say, I have been in you.
Yes.
Yes. I wasn't going to go there, but I get it.
Yeah.
Again, I just think that again, as a musician, I do think that Lindsey Buckingham needs to be spoken about more, and also Christine McVie. I think that sophistication is the word I'm looking for. She was such a sophisticated, elegant individual that I think to an extent Stevie Nicks overshadowed her in the band, and she probably was grateful that she did that. You know what I mean? Okay, take the pressure off me, put the spotlight on you, take the pressure off me. I'll just sit here and write my songs, and we'll release an album when we do, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's my another mini rant, but I digress. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us on this series of episodes of Triple Play. And again, down in the comments, please put bands that you think have a run of 3 albums that you think are great. And maybe we miss some bands out there, from other genres that we need to know about. You know what I mean? There's no harm in giving opinions and giving comments. So I want to thank Ken, Jim, and Bill for joining me on this adventure. This was fun. This was really fun. Any more comments? Any closing remarks or
I just
opinions?
want to wish everyone a happy and prosperous 2025. And we hope you keep watching us as we spread the music fun.
We're not talking like through the window or anything, no, folks. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Bill. I wasn't going to go there, but yes, I want to echo Ken's thoughts. We want to wish you a very happy new year and a very prosperous and healthy and joyous 2025. And on a personal note, again, I want to thank everyone who has been watching the channel and who has been supporting me and supporting us through the content that we've been bringing you. When I started this channel, I wanted to make it a place where you could, you watch episodes and have it be more of a warm, welcoming environment and just talking about music and sharing ideas. We may not always agree. If we did always agree, that'd be boring, right? So But we always try to respect one another. And my respect for these three individuals on this panel is like, I can't even describe it. I'm not even going to try to describe it because I couldn't do it justice in words. So I want to thank everyone here for helping me bringing these up to bring these episodes to the viewers, and we will continue to bring you episodes in 2025 and beyond, hopefully. Hopefully you guys enjoy what we're doing, and leave us comments as to how you feel that we're doing. I know the negative comments seem to come pretty quickly. But it is what it is. You can't please everybody. And I've stopped trying that in my 20s because you never do that with anybody on any level. So, anyways, for everyone here, for Ken, Jim, and Bill, I'm Armando signing off. And we will be seeing you in future episodes to come. Again, please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. All right. So again, if you're still celebrating from New Year's Eve, happy celebrations. Please be
Slow it
careful.
down a little.
Yes, bring
It's
it
at least 5 p.m.
Yes, work is coming for you very soon. So please look after yourselves and one another, and please be safe. All right. We'll see you soon with more episodes. Bye for now.